What's up, guys? I quit my career 3 times and I'm still out here, and everything has been okay. It turned out okay. It's probably not recommended to leave your career that many times, but yeah, it's worked out. I hope it's kind of windy outside. I hope it's not picking it up too much. But yeah, I ended up quitting my career 3 times since being, I guess you can say, 18 years old till 38. So 20 years. Uh, I'll tell you guys how it went down. So my first career I consider is me going to school at a university, and I got my bachelor's of science degree in environmental sciences. So getting your university degree, that's 4 years. So if you count 4 years, and then in my last year of that, I ended up getting a part-time job at the campus greenhouses. So when I actually did end up graduating, it turned out that the greenhouse manager, and there was a lot of greenhouses, like big ones, like picture the size of a good house. That's like a greenhouse, but there was probably like 50 to 100 of them. So once I graduated, it turns out that the greenhouse manager who I worked under actually was gonna retire. I already knew he was an old guy. We were cool with each other. He was a good friend. Uh, so when he actually did retire, I saw the ad because I was just job hunting, and it's not like the department told me like, "Oh, he's gonna retire. You want to apply?" No, they definitely didn't tell me. But I ended up seeing it on the website when I was job hunting. I was like, "Really? What's the chances if I apply to this that I would get it?" Like, being that I was like, what, 22 maybe, and the only experience I had was being his part-time assistant. I think I would work like 15 hours a week, Monday through Friday. So yeah, I mean, the director, the person who was in charge of hiring, she knew me really well. So I applied, and they called me in for an interview, and I got the job. So I was like 22 years old, being in charge of like 100 greenhouses. My official title was senior nursery technician. It wasn't really too much involved with my environmental science degree, but it was close enough where like I consider it all like one career. But yeah, that job was a really good job. Like, the pay was good for my age, and they were gonna give you incremental increases in pay raise, and you had all the benefits that you could want, like health, retirement, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a really good job, but during that time I was going through very tough times in my personal life. So I was kind of a little bit on the unhappy side, and I discovered like uh, blogs about following your passion and doing something you love and personal development and that area. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Steve Pavlina, Mr. Money Mustache. I used to like some guy called Raptitude.com. The writer was David. Uh, yeah, there was a lot of guys. I really dived into reading like every blog post of all those blogs, and like I decided, like, you know what, I want to be a writer. So I was a greenhouse manager for 3 years. So you count getting my degree plus those 3 years, that's 7 years dedicated to one area. And I had saved up some money, so I decided to quit. Plus, I was young. I still was just contributing rent to help my mom, and I was still living with her and my brother and sister. So it was not as long as I had my money saved, then it was not a big deal, you know? So I pretty much quit that really, really good job, and I decided I want to be a writer. And to be a writer, you know, it's kind of hard to get your first foot in the door. So what I end up doing is I end up starting my own blog, and I end up writing on my own blog daily, just just based off the topics that I'm learning from watching YouTube videos. I used to love like Tim Ferriss and all those guys, and reading all the self-help books and the blogs. So I was just writing about what I was learning about on my personal blog. And I even started another blog that was catered to environmentalism. And pretty much after writing for those blogs for like 5 months, I had the savings, so I was okay. I applied to a content writing position for a company that would make websites for businesses, small businesses, and I applied to be a content writer, and I would write articles on their business, but using SEO. So I ended up doing that, and I ended up being a content writer for a couple other companies. I even got my own clients at some point, where they were paying me, like, you know, on the side on top of my job, like maybe 1 or 200 for an article to contribute to their business websites. So I ended up being a writer, full-fledged writer for like maybe 6 years, and it was really great. It was really great. The only problem was that I couldn't really make any money. I was like making like bare minimal this entire time. Like even with 5, 6 years of credible experience, because this whole time I was still writing for my blogs. So you have blogs that are 5, 6 years old, writing for companies for 5 or 6 years, and like I was still making like very, very low money. Like we're talking like 18, 19 bucks an hour. So I was like, what is that, like 2 grand a month, maybe 25? And it was cool because it was enough for what I needed, but I know like there's no way you're gonna, you know, sustain any kind of like family in the future. So I was like, damn. I started thinking like, okay, well, I either need to get a lot more clients, or I'm gonna have to like switch again. So I think you guys heard in other videos my brother speaking on how he was in sales and he was in door to door. So my third career change ends up being that I go into sales because my brother's doing really good in sales, and I'm thinking like, dude, I need to make money too. I can't just like be following my passion. Like, and at this point I was starting to think like, oh man, like the whole follow your passion stuff, you know, it's limited. You know, it's limited. Like, yeah, follow your passion, but you also have to have money to like survive and have a good life, you know? So my third career change, it was the shortest one. It was probably barely 2 years, was sales. And that's where I worked with my brother in door-to-door solar sales. And then from there I moved to cold calling. We He also worked there for a little. We cold called for a company where we sold LED grow lights. And basically me personally, I was not that good at sales. It was just not really for me. Just for my personality, it was just not a good fit for me. So I never really did well. I was pretty much doing as good as I was being a writer. So I end up, you know, leaving sales and not really sure what to do. But luckily, you know, my brother's always right there to help me make big decisions, and he had the idea to tell me like, hey, what about truck driving? So I go into truck driving, I go into trucking school, get my CDL, and that's the career that I'm currently in. That's what I've been a truck driver for, like a little over 4 years. Let's just call it 4 years. So that's my current career. And you know what? To be honest, I might switch again. The ultimate goal is to like make a full living off of our cryptocurrency investments and any kind of content creation projects we're working on, such as this Bros in the Arena. So yeah, I mean, if you need to do a career change, I would say go for it, but just think it through and make sure you do your research and you're fairly certain that it's for you. Because there was a couple career changes I did that probably weren't the best idea, especially the one going into sales. I was probably better off just staying and writing those 2 years, those 2 extra years, and then going into trucking. There was no need for me to do the sales, even though I learned a lot. I for sure learned a lot and I grew as a person, but in terms of just talking monetary wise, yeah, there was no reason for me to go into sales. But yeah, that's it. That's my story. That's how it happened. 3 career changes, and I'm in trucking, and I'm doing good. So yeah, guys, how much times have you guys changed your careers, or are you thinking of it, or have you done it? Leave a comment and subscribe so that you could hear our other videos. All right, thank you.